Evan Hawley walked through the quiet street of the mixed human-alien colony, holding a small toolkit in his hand. The night was cold, and the lamps along the road flickered like dying stars. He had finished his shift at the repair station, and only wanted to go home and sleep. But tonight, something unusual stopped him. He heard a soft sound like someone slowly tapping on metal. Tap, tap. Evan turned his head. At the end of the street, he saw a small alien girl moving carefully. Her hand stretched forward. She touched every wall, every corner, as if she feared the darkness around her. Her skin was light blue, and faint silver lines ran down her cheeks, markings of her species. Her eyes, however, remained closed. She tilted her head, listening for every tiny sound so she would not fall. Evan froze. He had seen broken machines, damaged drones, even crashed shuttles. But he had never seen a child walk like she carried the whole darkness on her back. A group of young alien boys walked by. They stared at her for a moment, whispered something cruel, and then laughed. One boy even pushed her shoulder lightly. She stumbled, but she did not cry. She simply stood still and waited for the laughter to fade. Evan felt anger rise in his chest. He stepped forward, slowly so he wouldn't scare her. "Hey," he said gently. "Are you okay?" The girl turned, her head toward his voice. Her eyes opened slightly, but they were clouded like pale glass. I am fine," she whispered. Her voice was soft, like she was afraid to disturb the night. "I just need to find the path to my home. I always lose it after sunset. Where are your parents?" Evan asked. "They are inside," she said. "They forbid me from going out. But I wanted to feel the night wind today. I wanted to hear how the stars sound." Evan blinked. "How stars sound?" She nodded. "Mama says the stars shine. I cannot see shining, but maybe they make a small sound. I wanted to know." Evan crouched beside her. "What is your name?" "Lyra," she said. "I am 10 cycles old." "My name is Evan," he said. "I can help you get home." Lyra shook her head quickly. "No, I do not want trouble. People say humans must not help children like me. They say it is dangerous." "Helping someone get home is never dangerous," Evan said kindly. He took her small hand and guided her down the street. Her fingers trembled. Every step she took felt careful, as if the whole world could fall apart beneath her feet. "You really cannot see anything?" Evan asked softly. "Nothing," she said. "I was born without light. My people say it is a curse from long ago. My eyes do not work, and our healers cannot fix them." "Have they tried human tech?" Evan asked. "Our elders forbid it. They say human machines can change our minds. They say it is not natural." Evan remained silent for a moment. When they reached her home, a small round building with glowing blue stones, Lyra stopped. "You can let go now," she said quietly, but Evan did not. He was staring at her face, the way she looked at the ground she could not see. "Can I ask one last question?" he said. She nodded. "What do you think the sky looks like?" Lyra thought for a long time. When people talk about the sky, they smile. So maybe the sky is something that makes hearts warm, something big, something free, something blue like water, but higher and happier. Evan felt a painful twist in his chest. A child who had never seen anything was describing the world with more beauty than people who saw it every day. A moment later, Lyra's mother opened the door. She gasped when she saw Evan. "You should not be here," the woman said sharply. "Our laws. He just helped me," Lyra said quickly. "I got lost." The mother's expression softened for a moment. She bowed slightly. "Thank you. Human. But please, leave before someone sees you." Evan nodded and stepped back. Lyra stood at the door. Her hand waved in his direction. "Good night, Evan," she whispered. He watched as the door closed gently. For a long moment, Evan stood alone on the street. His mind replayed every word, every step, every small tremble in her voice. He looked up at the night sky, the one filled with shining stars Lyra could not see. He could not accept that this child, this sweet little girl who dreamed of hearing stars, would live her whole life in darkness. As he walked home, his heart felt heavier with each step. Inside his small workshop, he placed his toolkit on the table. His hands shook slightly, not from fear, but from something stronger. Determination. He whispered to himself, "If her world has no light, then I will build her one." He sat at his desk, turned on the lamp, and opened his digital blueprints. His eyes scanned technical notes, neural diagrams, and old research from Earth. A wild idea formed in his mind, something that could give Lyra vision in a completely new way. A prototype visor, linked directly to the brain. Dangerous, risky, forbidden. But Evan Hawley did not care, because tonight he had met a little girl who had no light, and he wanted to change her world forever. Evan Hawley did not sleep that night. He sat alone in his workshop, surrounded by half-built machines, loose wires, glowing screens, and piles of unfinished repairs. But his focus was only on one thing, Lyra. He kept seeing the way she walked, slow, careful, afraid of the dark, even though she lived in it. He kept hearing her small voice, asking what the sky looked like. He opened an old metal box under his desk. Inside it were designs he had never shown to anyone, personal dreams, impossible ideas. At the very bottom lay a project he once abandoned. A neural light visor that could convert visual patterns into brain signals. He had stopped building it years ago, because no human volunteer would ever agree to such a risky test. But now, for the first time, he felt the idea breathe again. Maybe, just maybe, this can give her light, he whispered. He straightened his back, turned on the brightest lamp, and began a long night of creation. He removed old parts, replaced wires, changed energy cells, and rewrote the code in simple language the alien brain could understand. Human brains were electric. Alien brains were mixed with light-based impulses. It was like building a bridge between two different planets. Hours passed. The workshop filled with soft blue light and faint robotic clicking. As dawn approached, Evan finally held a small visor in his hands. It looked fragile, silver bands, a thin glass front, and several crystal chips inside. Normal engineer would test it on machines. Evan placed it on his own head. A flash of white light exploded in his vision. He fell back in his chair. The visor wasn't perfect. It hurt. It heated. It needed tuning. But it worked. For the first time in years, Evan felt hope crash over him like a wave. Lyra returns that evening. Someone knocked on his door, 3 soft taps. Evan opened it. Lyra stood there, holding the small flower. She smiled in his direction even though she looked slightly away. "I wanted to thank you for yesterday," she said. "I know my home is far. I hope this flower shows my thanks." Evan took it gently. "You didn't have to bring anything." Lyra shook her head. "When someone gives me warmth, I give something back." Evan felt his heart melt. "Lyra," he said slowly, "can you come inside? I want to show you something." Her ears tilted forward, her species' way of showing curiosity. She stepped carefully into the workshop. The moment she entered, she gasped. Machines, lights, glowing screens, everything sounded loud and alive to her. Evan could see her head turning, trying to understand the shapes through sound. "Evan, what is this place?" she asked. "My workshop," he said. "Where I fix things. And you want to fix me?" She asked softly. Her question cut him like a blade. "No," he said. "There is nothing wrong with you. You are perfect the way you are. I only want to give you something you never had." He picked up the visor. Lyra reached out with slow hands. Her fingers brushed its surface. "What is this?" "A visor," Evan said. "A special one. If it works, it will let you see." Lyra stepped back in shock. "No, Evan, the elders forbid this. They say human machines are dangerous. They say it changes our minds. This one does not change your mind, he said. It only gives your mind the light it already deserves. Lyra felt her chest tighten. No one had ever spoken to her like this. Not even her own people. Will it hurt me? She whispered. It might, Evan admitted. But if you trust me, I think it can work. She stood silent for a long moment. Her small hands trembled. Then she nodded. I trust you. The first light Evan helped her sit on a crate. He adjusted the visor carefully so it rested above her eyes. Her breathing grew fast. Her fingers held the crate edges tightly. Is it on? She asked. Not yet, he said. When I turn it on, you might feel heat, maybe pressure. Tell me if it hurts too much. Lyra swallowed and nodded. Evan took a deep breath and pressed a gentle button. The visor hummed softly like whispering wind. Lyra gasped. Her eyelids fluttered open. At first, she only saw blurry colors, blue gold, white floating like soft clouds in water. Then the shapes slowly sharpened. She saw a table. She saw a wall. She saw tiny dust particles dancing in the air. And then, she saw Evan. Her lips parted. Tears filled her eyes. You, she whispered. Is this you? Evan smiled with a shaking voice. Yes, Lyra, this is me. Lyra reached out her hand, but this time she didn't feel blindly. She touched his face, gently, seeing and feeling at the same time. I can see, she cried. Evan, I can see. Her tears shined like small glowing stars. Evan's own eyes burned with emotion. He had repaired machines, engines, robots, but nothing felt like this moment. Nothing felt this alive, but light always brings shadows after. Sometime Lyra removed the visor carefully. She looked at it with wonder and fear mixed together. Evan, if anyone finds out, they will take this away. They will take you away. Evan nodded. That's why no one must know, not yet. Lyra stepped forward and hugged him tightly. You gave me light, she whispered. I will protect you, even if the whole world turns against us. Evan held her back, but neither of them knew someone outside the workshop was watching and recording. A shadow slipped away into the dark night. Trouble was already on its way. Asterisk for the next 2 days. Lyra returned to Evan's workshop every evening, always quietly, always alone. She wore the visor for a few minutes at a time. Evan adjusted the settings, fixed small glitches, and tried to make the light signal smoother for her alien brain. Each time she used it, her smile grew brighter. Each time she removed it, Evan saw fear hiding behind her joy. On the third evening, she whispered, Evan, I saw my mother's face today. He paused. She didn't notice? No, Lyra said. I only used the visor for a few seconds when she turned away. But I didn't know her eyes were so warm. Evan felt something tighten in his chest. Giving sight to someone was powerful. Almost too powerful. Just be careful, he said. We don't know how your elders will react. They will be angry, Lyra said. Angry at me. Angry at everything that changes their old rules. A dangerous rumor begins. The colony was small. Secrets never stayed quiet for long. 2 alien women saw Lyra walking straighter than usual. A vendor noticed she reached for objects without touching them first. A teacher wondered why she faced the right direction during a conversation. Whispers began. Suspicion grew. At the market, an old alien man asked her, Child, how did you find this fruit? You always needed help before. Lyra froze. Her mother quickly grabbed her arm and answered, She is learning. Leave her alone. But the old man continued watching her long after she left. Evan feels the pressure back in his workshop. Evan repaired a drone engine, but his mind was elsewhere. He paced back and forth, thinking of the rumors. What if someone saw her wearing the visor? What if someone reports me? What if soldiers come? The colony had strict laws. Humans could work with alien tech, but never merge it. With alien bodies. It was considered mind interference. A forbidden act. Evan tried to calm himself, but the fear stayed. That night before Lyra arrived, Evan heard strange footsteps outside. He held his breath, but no one knocked. The footsteps slowly faded away. He didn't know if the sound was real or only in his imagination. The unseen watcher. While Evan waited, a shadow leaned behind a storage unit, silent as a blade. The watcher wore a dark cloak, face hidden, holding a small recorder shaped like a silver cube. The cube glowed softly, saving every word, every sound, every movement coming from Evan's workshop. The watcher whispered, "So the human really built it. The forbidden device." Then the shadow stepped back and vanished into the night like smoke. Lyra's confession. When Lyra finally arrived, she ran inside with more excitement than fear. "Evan," she whispered loudly. "I saw colors today." Evan blinked. "You did?" "Yes. When the sun touched the water, it turned gold. I always heard people say it, but now I saw it with my own eyes." She twirled around, holding her hands out like she was dancing for the first time in her life. Evan smiled but sighed. "That's beautiful, Lyra, but dangerous. People are noticing." She stopped dancing. "What do you mean?" "Rumors," he said. "Questions. People staring at you too long." Lyra bit her lip. Fear returned to her eyes. "I don't want to lose my sight," she whispered. "I just found it." "You won't," Evan said gently. "But we must be careful. The elders interfere." The next day, the colony council called an urgent meeting. Lyra's mother came home with worry on her face. "Lyra," she said sharply, "the elders want to see you tomorrow." Lyra's stomach tightened. "Why?" "They say something is wrong," her mother said. "They say you are changing." Lyra trembled. "Mama, please, don't tell them about Evan." Her mother paused, not answering immediately. "Do you trust your daughter?" Evan had once asked her. Now she faced the answer. Finally she whispered, "I will protect you. But if they find the truth, they will punish us both." Lyra felt her heart break. The council's decision. The council meeting was short and cruel. Elders asked Lyra many questions. They looked into her cloudy eyes. They watched her walk in a straight line. One elder whispered, "This is impossible. She moves like she can see." Another said, "No, it must be human influence." The room filled with heavy silence. Then the high elders spoke. "Send spies, find the truth. And if a human interfered, bring him to justice." Back at the workshop, the storm arrives that night. Lyra reached Evan's workshop running, breathless. "Evan, the elders suspect everything. They want to catch you." Evan's face turned pale. The tools in his hands fell to the floor. "Lyra, did they follow you?" "No," she said, "but they sent spies. They will find us soon." Evan walked to the corner of the workshop and opened a hidden panel. Inside it was the visor wrapped carefully in cloth. He held it tightly. This little device could change Lyra's life, but it could also destroy his. "What do we do now?" Lyra asked in a shaking voice. Evan looked into her eyes, not the clouded ones she was born with, but the ones now filled with new light. "We survive," he said, "no matter what comes." But before he could speak more, a loud metallic thud shook the ground. Then another dot and another. Lyra stepped back in fear. Evan's heart raced. Outside the workshop, heavy boots marched in formation. 4 shadows approached the door. Their armor gleamed under the moonlight. Elite soldiers, Royal Guard, the deadliest force in the alien empire. One of them raised his hand and knocked. The heavy knock on Evan's workshop door shook the entire building. Lyra froze. Evan's breath caught in his throat. The air felt thick, like the room itself was holding fear. Another knock followed, slow, powerful, deliberate. Thud, thud, thud. Not only soldiers, not like that. Evan stepped forward and whispered, "Lyra, hide, now." She ran behind a storage crate, filled with metal parts. Her tiny hands shook as she covered her mouth to stay quiet. Evan wiped his palms on his clothes, calmed his breathing, and opened the door. Cold night air rushed in. Standing outside were 4 alien soldiers, tall as giants, wearing black armor with glowing gold lines that pulsed like living veins. Their helmets were shaped like sharp animal skulls, each decorated with a royal crest. The leader stepped forward. His armor hummed as he moved. "Human," he said in a heavy voice. "Are you Evan Hale?" Evan swallowed. "Yes." The leader nodded slowly. "Good, then you will come with us." A silent threat. Evan tried to stay calm. "Why? I haven't broken any laws." All 4 soldiers exchanged glances. The leader replied, "Your actions have changed the fate of a child. That is enough." Evan's heartbeat quickened. So they knew. They knew about Lyra's sight. They knew about the visor. One soldier stepped beside him, scanning the room with glowing sensors. Evan clenched his fists. "If this is about Lyra, she did nothing wrong. I helped her because no one else would." The leader tilted his head. "You helped her. But did she ask you to break ancient rules?" Evan's voice became sharp. "Ancient rules that keep children in darkness?" A dangerous silence followed. The soldiers weren't used to humans speaking boldly. Most humans in the colony were quiet, careful, always lowering their heads. But Evan was different. The leader leaned down, his golden eyes glowing through the mask. "You speak bravely. But bravery means nothing if you stand alone." Lyra appears before Evan could answer. A small cry broke the tension. "Stop!" Lyra stepped out from her hiding place, trembling but filled with courage. Evan's heart sank. "Lyra, no." But she walked forward. The soldiers turned their helmets toward her slowly. The leader spoke in a cold voice. "Child, why are you here?" Lyra raised her chin. "I came because Evan did nothing wrong. He only gave me light. You should thank him." The soldiers stiffened. The leader's eyes widened inside his mask. You can see?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, because of him." Evan felt panic spread in his chest. She was exposing everything, but something strange happened. Instead of anger, the soldiers stepped closer, staring at Lyra like she carried a miracle. One whispered, "This is real." Another whispered, "After so many years." The leader removed his helmet slowly. He was older than Evan expected, silver lines glowing across his face like lightning scars. He knelt in front of Lyra. "Child," he said quietly, "can you truly see me?" Lyra looked into his eyes directly, clearly. "Yes." A shockwave swept through the soldiers. The unexpected truth. The leader stood back up, his voice lower than before. "Evan Hale," he said, "we are not here to punish you." Evan blinked in disbelief. "Then why are you here?" The soldiers exchanged glances again, this time with respect, not hostility. The leader spoke. "Your visor. Our empire tried to build one like it for 30 years. Every attempt failed. Our brightest scientists could not cure the blindness that affects our young." He looked at Lyra, his expression softening. "She is not the only one. Thousands of children are born without sight. It is not a curse. It is a genetic wound that has followed us for generations." Lyra gasped. Evan felt the weight of the truth hit him like a wave. The leader continued, "Your invention is the first working solution, the first light our children may ever see." The soldier beside him added, "To us, you are not a criminal. You are hope." Evan didn't know what to say. He had expected chains, punishment. Not this. A dangerous offer. The leader stepped closer. "But hope comes with risk. The council fears your device. Some want it destroyed. Some want you destroyed." Evan felt his stomach sink. "Then why are you here?" To protect you, the leader said. And to take you to the royal city, you will meet our ruler. If she approves your invention, no one can harm you. Lyra grabbed Ivan's sleeve. No, he cannot go. They will use him. They will change his invention for something bad. The leader shook his head. We wish only to understand his tech, and to give sight to our children. Evan looked at Lyra, her eyes full of new life. If he refused, the visor might be banned forever. Thousands of children would stay blind. If he agreed, he might never return home. A choice in the darkness. The leader extended a gloved hand. Evan Halley, come with us. Bring the visor. Help us finish what you started. Evan's mind spun. Fear whispered one thing. Hope whispered another. He looked at Lyra. She grabbed his hand tightly. You gave me light. Please don't lose your own. Her voice broke him. Slowly, Evan turned to the soldiers and nodded. I'll come. The leader placed a protective arm around him. Then hurry. The council already knows. They sent others less friendly. Evan grabbed the visor, took one last look at his workshop, and stepped outside. The soldiers formed a circle around him. Lyra stood in the doorway, tears shining in her eyes. Evan, please come back. He forced a smile. I will. But inside, he wasn't sure. As they walked into the night, the leader whispered to his team, protect the human at any cost. And far behind them, hidden on a rooftop, another pair of eyes watched. Eyes that didn't want peace. Eyes that wanted war. Asterisk, the royal transport ship waited at the far edge of the colony, a massive, dark blue vessel shaped like a winged stone. Its metal surface shimmered under the moonlight as if it were alive. Evan had never seen a ship like this. It didn't hum like human ships. It breathed. Soft pulses of golden light moved along its sides, beating like a giant heart. 2 soldiers walked ahead of him. 2 stayed behind, guarding him from every angle. Their steps hit the ground with perfect rhythm, like a single mind controlling 4 bodies. Evan kept glancing back. Lyra stood in the distance, her small hands pressed against her chest, tears shining in her new eyes. Please come back, she whispered, but Evan couldn't hear her now. The soldiers had led him too far. Inside the royal ship, the doors of the ship opened with a smooth hiss. Warm light spilled out, gentle and faint, like a sunrise trapped inside metal. Evan stepped in cautiously. The interior surprised him. Instead of cold metal walls, the passage was lined with curved silver panels covered in glowing blue lines, alien writing that shifted like ocean waves. It felt less like a ship and more like a temple. One soldier walked beside him. We apologize for the appearance, he said. Our vessels are grown, not built. Grown? Evan repeated. Yes, we use living metal. It adapts, heals, adjusts to its passengers. Evan stared at the walls. They pulsed slightly, like breathing skin. Where are you taking me? He asked. To our capital city, the leader answered. To the royal hall. And what happens there? Evan said. The leader didn't answer immediately. Instead, he opened the door. The room that changes everything inside was a large hall, filled with soft blue fog. Dozens no. Hundreds of alien children sat quietly on floating seats. Some were very young. Some were teenagers, but all of them had the same cloudy eyes as Lyra once had. Blind. Evan froze. What is this? He whispered. One of the soldiers, tall, with emerald markings on his cheeks, stepped forward. This is why we came for you, he said. These children suffer from the same blindness as Lyra. Evan's heart pounded. Where are their parents? They are waiting outside, the soldier said. They come here hoping for a miracle, hoping for a chance. The leader looked at Evan. You gave Lyra that chance. Evan stared at the sea of children, so quiet, so careful, so lost in their own darkness. A shiver went down his spine. I didn't realize. So many, he whispered. For you, it was one child. For us, the leader lowered his head. It is a whole generation. Evan felt something heavy settle inside him. But not all soldiers want peace. The moment of quiet broke when a different soldier entered the hall, one who wasn't part of the escort team. He wore darker armor, marked with the emblem of the council, not the royal guard. His eyes were sharp with suspicion. His voice colder than space. Double quotes. So, this is the human? He said. The royal guard leader stiffened. Commander Vorsk, the human is under our protection. Protection? Vorsk sneered. He broke sacred law. He mixed human code with alien biology. This is not protection. This is contamination. Evan felt the hostility roll off the man like poison. The leader stepped forward. The Queen has given orders. The human must be brought to her alive, Vorsk smirked. Alive, yes, but uninjured? That was not mentioned. One soldier beside Evan tightened his grip on his weapon. Evan understood instantly. There was a war inside this empire. Some wanted him alive. Some wanted him erased. And he was standing in the center. The dark side of the truth. Vorsk walked around Evan slowly, inspecting him like a creature in a cage. Human, he said. Do you understand what you did? Evan swallowed hard. I helped a child see. No, Vorsk said. You changed destiny. You changed rules older than your planet. We are not meant to see through human tech. Our blindness is part of our evolution. Evan frowned. A suffering evolution. Vorsk leaned forward, eyes cold like dead stars. Pain keeps us controlled. Without it, children like Lyra may grow, unpredictable. Evan felt a chill crawl down his spine. This wasn't about laws. This wasn't about purity. This was about control. The leader of the royal guard stepped between them. Enough. The Queen will decide. Vorsk raised a brow. If she lives long enough to see him. The room fell silent. The threat was clear. Then Vorsk turned and left the hall with his cloak dragging behind him like spilled ink. A moment of heavy realization. Evan looked at the royal guard leader. What is he talking about? Why act like you're all at war? The leader hesitated. Then he spoke quietly. For many years, some leaders believed our children must remain blind. So they stay dependent on the council. Evan felt sick. That's monstrous. Yes, the leader said. That is why the council fears your invention. They do not want children to see. Evan clenched his fists. So what do you want? The leader bowed his head slightly. We want freedom and light and hope. He looked toward the sea of blind children. We want them to see the world we failed to show them. Evan felt his chest tighten again. He thought of Lyra's small smile, her shaking voice, her joy. He couldn't walk away now. The final twist. But as Evan took a step forward, the ship suddenly shook. Lights flickered. The walls pulsed rapidly. An alarm rang deep, thunderous, urgent. One soldier yelled, "Impact on the port side." Another shouted, "Unknown vessel approaching." The leader grabbed Evan's arm. The council has found us. They're attacking the ship. Evan's heart dropped. What do they want? The leader's eyes hardened. You, he looked him straight in the eyes. Or your death. Asterisk. The royal ship shook again, hard enough that Evan stumbled into the wall. Lights dimmed. Sirens pulsed like distant thunder. Soldiers ran through the corridors. Armor clashing, weapons powering up with sharp electric sounds. The leader pulled Evan close. Stay behind us. Don't speak to anyone. Don't move alone. Evan nodded, heart pounding like a drum inside his ribs. Another explosion rocked the ship. This time, pieces of ceiling cracked. A young alien soldier shouted, "There!" Targeting the engine core. The leader cursed under his breath. They want to crash us before we reach the capital. Why? Evan asked, voice shaking. The leader replied, because if you meet the Queen, the council loses control. They'd rather destroy this ship than allow you to offer hope. Evan swallowed hard. So they're trying to kill me. Killing you, the leader said, kills the future. Chaos in the hall. They rushed down the corridor into a large chamber glowing with soft blue fog. The same place where hundreds of blind alien children waited. But now the children were crying, covering their ears, confused and terrified. Soldiers moved among them, trying to calm them. One small girl grabbed Evan's hand as he passed. "Human, what is happening?" she whispered. Evan knelt quickly. "We're going to keep you safe. Don't let go of anyone." She nodded with trembling lips. The leader signaled his squad. "Evacuate all children to the inner chamber, now." The soldiers guided the children toward a safe room made of thick living metal that could reshape itself to block explosions. Evan watched as the room sealed slowly around them, like a protective cocoon. The leader turned to Evan. "You must come with you west to the control bridge." "Why me?" Evan asked. "Because once the Queen speaks to you, we can stop this civil break." He paused. "And because the Council will not stop until they capture you." The bridge under fire, they ran up a curved hallway that glowed red from emergency lights. The ship shook a third time, more violent than before. Evan nearly fell, but a soldier grabbed his arm. "Careful, human," the soldier said. "You break easily." Evan almost laughed, but it came out as a shaky breath. When they reached the control bridge, chaos greeted them. Screens flickered. Panels sparked. Pilots shouted orders. "Incoming drone swarm. Shields at 40%. One more hit on the left engine, and we will fall." Evan stared at the screen. A dark, needle-shaped vessel was following them, firing bright red energy beams. The leader pointed. "That is a Council attack ship." Evan clenched his fists. "Why are they so desperate to stop me? I'm just one human." The leader's eyes softened. "No, you are the human who built the impossible." The captain of the bridge approached them, a tall alien woman with 4 silver stripes on her armor. Her voice was sharp, but calm like steel. "Report." The leader bowed. "We retrieved the human, but the Council ambushed us." The captain looked at Evan. "So this is you?" Evan nodded nervously. "Yes." She folded her arms. "Then listen. We will give you a choice, a difficult one." Evan straightened. The captain pointed at a pulsating map on the screen. "We can destroy the Council ship, but only if someone enters the maintenance shaft and manually resets the reactor shield. No alien can fit through the shaft. Only a human body is small enough." Evan's stomach dropped. "You want me to go in there? During an attack?" "Yes," she said. "If you do not, the Council will shoot us down. The children on this ship will not survive." Evan felt sweat gather on his forehead. "So either I crawl into a moving ship's reactor tube," he swallowed, "or everyone here dies." The captain nodded once. "Yes." Lyra's face flashed in Evan's mind, her smile, her trembling hands, her whisper. "You gave me light." He closed his eyes for one moment, then opened them with steel. "I'll do it." Inside the living metal, 2 soldiers escorted him down a narrow staircase into the ship's engineering core. Blue steam hissed softly. Pipes pulsed like veins. Panels breathed with warm, faint light. Evan crawled toward the maintenance shaft, a dark tunnel barely wider than his shoulders. A young soldier handed him a small stabilizer tool. "Hold it against the shield crystal and push. The metal will respond." Evan nodded. The soldier hesitated, then added softly, "I hope your gods walk with you, human." Evan forced a smile. "I hope yours walk with me too." Then he crawled inside. The shield reset. The tunnel was hot. Metal vibrated around him. Every explosion outside felt like the world shaking. Evan moved deeper, sweat dripping down his face, hands scraping against the living metal. Finally, he reached the core. A bright crystal pulsed dangerously, its energy unstable. He pushed the stabilizer tool into its center. Nothing happened. He pushed harder. A Shock of pain traveled through his arm. The crystal resisted. "Come on," Evan whispered. "Don't do this now." He gritted his teeth, used both hands, and slammed the tool forward with every bit of strength he had. The crystal snapped into place. A huge wave of blue light exploded outward, engulfing him, the shaft, and the entire ship. The aftermath. Evan blinked as he crawled out of the shaft. The leader grabbed his shoulders. "You did it. The shield is back online." The captain's voice echoed from the bridge. "Firing main cannon." A moment later, boom, a massive flash lit the space outside the ship. The council vessel shattered into burning fragments. The attack stopped. The ship steadied. The leader looked at Evan, shock in his eyes. "You saved all of us." Evan wiped sweat from his forehead. "I did what I had to." The leader placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then hear this now, human. You are no longer just an outsider." His voice softened. "You are part of our future." The ship finally stabilized after the battle. The alarms faded. The trembling stopped, but the silence that followed was heavy too. Heavy. Evan stepped into the main corridor with the leader beside him. Soldiers moved quickly, repairing damaged panels and sealing cracks in the living metal. Some looked at Evan with open respect now. Others with frightened curiosity. He didn't feel like a hero. Just a human who survived something impossible. The leader placed a hand on his shoulder. "You showed courage no alien could have. You earned the right to stand before our queen." Evan nodded slowly. He was exhausted, sore, and mentally drained. But he wasn't afraid, not anymore. The children see hope before they reach the upper deck. The ship doors to the safe room opened. The blind children stepped out, guided by the soft blue lights along the floor. They couldn't see, but they could feel the change in the air. One little boy tugged at Evan's sleeve. Did we survive?" Evan bent down and smiled. "Yes, you're safe." The boy tilted his head, listening to Evan's voice. "You sound tired." "I am," Evan laughed softly, "but happy." Another child approached, tall, with silver markings. "What will happen now?" he asked. Evan stood and looked at them, dozens of faces shaped by sadness but filled with hope. He wished he could give all of them the visor instantly. He wished he could fix everything now. But the leader stepped forward, answering for him. "We're taking the human to the capital. If the queen accepts his invention, you will all be able to see." The children gasped. Some covered their mouths. Some began to cry softly, overwhelmed by the idea of light. Evan felt something warm in his chest. This was why he was here. This was worth every danger. The queen's message. Suddenly, every wall of the ship lit up with golden symbols. The living metal whispered, vibrating gently. The leader's eyes widened. "The queen is contacting us." The glowing symbols shifted, forming a shimmering projection of a woman, tall, regal, dressed in flowing gold. Her eyes glowed with gentle white fire. Her voice filled the hall. "Evan Hall, human engineer," she said. "Your courage and skill have reached my throne." Evan stood frozen. She continued, "You built light inside darkness. You broke ancient limits. You saved our children today." Her voice softened. "And for that, I give you my promise. If you reach my palace, no council number, no soldier, no authority will harm you." Evan exhaled a breath he didn't know he was holding. But the queen's next words turned his relief into a silent storm. "However," she said, "I must warn you. The council has sent a second fleet. They will try again. They believe your invention will destroy their power. They will not stop." The leader clenched his fists. "The final war begins." Evan shivered. A war because of him? No, because of the visor. Because of what the visor meant. Hope was dangerous. The queen's image flickered. "Evan Hawley, you must survive. If you perish, your invention perishes. And our children will remain blind forever." The projection faded. Silence returned. Evan's hands trembled slightly. Everything felt heavier now. A warning from Earth. The leader touched Evan's arm. "We move soon. There's no time to rest." Evan nodded and followed him up the staircase. But as they reached the next deck, Evan's wrist screen buzzed sharply. A red icon flashed. A coded message from Earth Command. Evan froze. He hadn't heard from Earth in months. The screen displayed only 5 words. "Do not trust the Empire." Evan's stomach dropped. "What?" he whispered. The screen lit again. "The visor has a second use." Evan's pulse quickened. A second use? His design was only meant for vision, wasn't it? His wrist screen buzzed one more time. "If they get the visor, they will control their entire youth. You must escape now." The message ended. The device powered off completely, as if Earth Command completely cut the connection. Evan stood frozen. The leader noticed his pale face. "Evan, what's wrong?" Evan swallowed, voice dry. "Earth just sent me a message." The leader's expression hardened. "What message?" Evan looked into the soldier's glowing eyes. "They said, the Empire is lying to me." Shock spread across the leader's face. "That is impossible. We only want to save our children." Evan stepped back slightly, without even realizing. Earth says you don't want to save them. You want to control them." The leader's jaw tightened. "That is a lie." Evan didn't answer. His mind spun. Was Earth right? Was the Empire hiding something? Was the visor more powerful than he realized? "What do I do now?" he whispered. The leader reached for him. "Evan, listen. Listen." He whispered. The leader reached for him. "Whatever Earth told you." But before he could finish, the ship violently jolted. The lights flickered. "Everyone, grab the nearest wall." A loud alarm screamed. "Council attack fleet in range." The leader cursed and pulled Evan toward the command deck. "Human, we don't have time for doubts. If you stay here, you die. If you run, you die. Your only chance is to follow us." Evan stared at the door ahead. His chest tightened. Earth was warning him. The Empire was protecting him. The Council was hunting him, all because of one invention, one visor, one moment of kindness. And now, as the ship roared under the pressure of the incoming fleet, Evan realized the hardest truth. He was no longer just a human engineer. He was the key to a war he never wanted. The leader shouted, "Evan, decide now. Who do you trust?" Evan backed against the wall, breath shaking. He looked at the burning lights. He looked at the soldiers waiting for his answer, and the screen turned black.